We know that Canada now houses about 75% of the mining companies around the world. And sadly, some of these mining companies, many of them in fact, many of which don't have even production here in Canada, actually are complicit in human rights abuses around this world. Many of them benefit of the services given to them by embassies, Canadian embassies. Some benefit from actual investment through Export Development Canada. And many carry the reputation that as Canadian mining companies, somehow they are working to make the world a better place. While in fact we know in country after country, particularly in Latin America and Africa, all that is happening is Canada is getting a bad name. And Mr. Speaker, this bill is no different. This bill serves to sully the reputation of Canada, a country that for years had built a strong reputation when it came to banning landmines, when it came to commitments to peacekeeping, when it came to commitments under its foreign affairs agenda explicitly to human security. And these didn't come just because they were ideas of one person, although certainly we think of a former Prime Minister like Lester Pearson and others who were very much responsible of the vision of peacekeeping. These came as a result, these touchstones emerged as a result of Canadians' values, of the push that Canadians made day in and day out, activists that fought for nuclear disarmament, activists that fought for peace, activists that fought for solidarity, to make sure that Canada is actually contributing to the well-being of people around the world. And Mr. Speaker, Canadians are horrified and will be horrified to hear of the bill that this government is ramming through Parliament. A bill that throws out the kind of reputation that Canadians value, and a bill that would ensure that Canada collaborates with countries that know the technology they're using, that know the arms that they are using, kill civilians in what they do. Now, Mr. Speaker, it's surprising that this government or these members of Parliament that sit across have no seem to not be concerned by any of this. I mean, first of all, we can see from the fact that none of them are actually rising tonight to make a speech on this issue. They seem to think that their best contribution is through heckling in this House. My question is, what kind of discussion could they possibly have, or what kind of defense could they possibly have to share with their constituents that would wonder why their member of Parliament their member of Parliament sitting on the government side is complicit in ensuring that an agenda that will see civilians die is rammed through Parliament without their contribution in debate, but obviously with their full support as they vote for debate to be hurried through and this bill to become legislation. Mr. Speaker, I share the feeling of frankly shame that Canada will now be a country as a result of this bill that includes Clause 11. That will be complicit in these kinds of horrors. And I would say that let history document that government members, that this Conservative government actively pursued an agenda that does not improve the lives of people around the world, that actively obstructs those, including our former allies and voices that have worked along with Canada in disarmament and the ban of landmines, and a government that is trying with such great gusto to reconfigure a representation of a country that no Canadian will buy. Mr. Speaker, I look forward to talking about this government's agenda in the lead up to the 2015 election, and I am sure that their arguments certainly on this area, when it comes to their foreign affairs agenda, won't pass muster with Canadians. Thank you.
Questions and comments, Honourable Minister of Citizenship and Immigration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't think any of us on this side have ever heard a speech by the NDP opposing an arms control measure with such